What's up guys, Steve here with Xtreme Heaters, and I'm back with another install video. Thanks to Water Sports Central for calling me down here to check out this brand spanking new Nautique GS20, and man, it is a beautiful boat. So they wanted some recommendations on exactly how they would put a heater in this boat for their customer. So I told them I'd love to come down and do some filming. So again, thanks to Water Sports Central. So what we have here is a medium-sized heater, and I'm going to teach you the ins and outs about installing that heater in a wakeboard boat and show you guys some of the considerations that you need to consider. The reason I'm going to use a medium is because we're in a relatively mild climate. We're here in Georgia. We typically won't see below 20 degrees, and anytime a boat is going to stay on a lift or be on a trailer, which this boat's going to be on a lift on the lake, I automatically go up one size heater. So if this boat was going to stay in the water or in somebody's garage or something, we would probably just run a small, but he's actually going to be outside and he's going to be on a lift, so we're going to go ahead and bump to the medium size heater. So let me walk you through some of the things you need to consider when installing your heater into a wakeboard boat. Again, when you open your heater up for the first time, remember on the side of the heater there's a QR code for your owner's manual and your warranty registration. Please fill out the warranty registration and read your owner's manual. I know you guys love reading owner's manuals. Okay, as you can see, they really stuff a V8 engine inside these boats. But some of the things that we need to consider here is, first and foremost, where can we mount the heater? How are we going to be using the boat in the wintertime? Are we actually going to be using this boat to wakeboard when nobody else is on the lake? Is it just going to be stored away for the winter? You know, consider that. One of the good things about the Xtreme Heater is it's a true forced air heater, meaning everything that goes in the inlet side goes out the exhaust side. So it does not matter if we need to mount this on a side or actually face it straight down or even upside down on a hatch. It will not affect the performance of the heater. When you're in an enclosed engine compartment this tight, one of the things I want you to try to do is maintain as much room for the exhaust to come out of this. And the reason why is not because it gets hot, is because I'm trying to circulate the air. And the more we can circulate the air, the more we can eliminate those cold pockets and completely warm up the environment. We do slow heat, nice steady even heat, because that will soak the motor and everything in the engine compartment and allow everything to rise up to that temperature, which lets it hold the temperature longer. So there's a few different positions I've seen people use the heater in, and I'm going to walk you through a couple different ways you can install this heater in this boat. What I've seen a lot of people do is take out their side hatch. Some boats have hatches that lay down, some boats have hatches that pull out like that, and then you could actually mount your heater in here, and I would face it towards the rear and go to the transmission side of the motor, because a lot of your cold, especially if this boat's going to be on a lift, the cold is going to come through that transmission right into the back of the motor. And we'll talk about the exhaust separate in a minute, but with the exhaust high and the manifolds high, that's always a vulnerable spot on the motor. So we'll talk about how to cover that exhaust up to help you maintain the heat. So we have a quick release bracket also that you guys have seen in some of my other videos. The heater just clips in here and then it snaps into place and holds the heater in. So if you wanted to do a quick release bracket on the floor, that way you could take the heater in and out in the summertime, because I know you guys like to throw a lot of life jackets and floats and things in the back of the boat, then you can do that without piling them on top of your heater. You could actually take the heater out all summer long if you want to do so. So that is one position, and again, I would maintain my airflow, and I'm going to try to push it towards the transmission side of this, because that's where all the cold metal is going to be touching the motor. Another option that you have is to actually mount this on the sidewall. So you could pull this sidewall out and mount this heater straight to it, and what you see me doing here is flushing the heat down, which will force it underneath the motor, and then of course the heat's going to automatically rise back up. Or again, we could mount that to where it was blowing the heat towards the transmission side and allowing us to circulate the heat around the engine. That would be my favorite position there, is trying to move the heat in a circular motion around the outside edge of the motor. So there's two different ways that you can install this, and there's actually enough room on the floor here that if you just wanted to install it on the floor and have that face towards the transmission, you could actually do that. So of all the places so far that I've showed you we can mount the heater, this is actually my favorite because it's down low, it gives us plenty of room to circulate the air, It's really out of the way. You could mount it there permanently and leave it, or you could also put the quick release mount in there and just pull it in and out at will if you guys were going to go wakeboarding. So this would be my favorite position. The others will work also, but again, I'm looking to circulate the air. Most important job of the heater is circulating. That way we flush out the cold and keep the heat in. So this would be my favorite position. If I was going to do this boat, which I'm going to do, this is where I'm going to mount this heater. So one of the other things I want you guys to pay attention to, because I've seen it happen a few times, is getting the power cord out of the engine compartment. It is not a good idea to lay this power cord on the hatch and then shut the hatch on top of it, because what you're going to do is leave a gap here for, of course, the heat rise. The heat's going to come right out of the engine room. So you see this one has a nice little area where you could actually put the cord down in it and it would still stay sealed. Of course, you can run it out one of these side compartments and get it to an extension cord. But what I really like are these plugs. You can actually just put a little hole in the side of your boat, put this plug inside. This will go inside your boat, plug into the heater, and then when you get home or you're on a trailer or you're on a lift, you can just plug your boat right in and that will turn your heater on for you. So you might want to look into these. A couple different companies make them. A Marine Co makes one. This one is a Norco. There's a couple different options for you guys to choose from. I've installed a few of these and I absolutely love them because it looks clean and it's easy to plug your heater in. If I was going to do this boat, I would put it in a spot just like that. It looks perfect and it's angled enough to where it would drain, but it does have a waterproof seal on it. And I think that'd be a great option if you want to do that and not have to leave the power cord running out of the boat all the time. Okay, so one of the things you got to look out for is these fresh air holes. These fresh airs on these boats is actually pulling the air out from underneath the seats and from the main hole of the boat. So what I would want to do is take some shrink wrap, or tape, or a towel, and something to stuff in these or seal them up so the cold air does not flush in here. And also the heat will find that and act like a chimney, and it'll actually suck the heat out of the engine compartment. So please make sure that you take a look at this and fill these gaps up. It'll help you maintain the heat inside your engine compartment 50% longer. So one of the things that you will want to consider if you're running a wakeboard boat, especially if it's sitting on a lift or on a trailer, is the exhaust. So the cold air, especially with the shape of this, cold air is blowing, it's going to run right up the exhaust and right into your risers, and that leaves those risers vulnerable because that's typically where the water's sitting and that's where the cold's going to stay. So what I like to see people do is cover these, and I don't care what you use, but we use like a shrink wrap tape. And it's pretty simple. You just come over here, shrink wrap to it. Again, all we're trying to do is maintain the heat inside and keeping the cold from flushing in. So this is one extra little step that you can do to make sure the heat stays in your engine compartment. I want you guys to really pay attention to making sure that you seal your engine compartment the best you can seal it. If not, it's kind of like leaving the windows open in your house and running the heat all day. Don't make any sense. So again, while you're installing your heater, just don't set it and forget it. Pay attention to what you're doing. Look for those little cues. Fill up all the extra gaps and holes you can, and it'll work a lot better for you. And I hope you're happy with the performance of your heater, and I know you will be. So there's my quick tutorial on how to install the Xtreme heaters inside a wakeboard boat. I gave you a lot of tips and tricks for you guys to consider when you're doing it to really help you out. So if you're one of those guys that like to get out and wakeboard when nobody else is on the lake and enjoy some of this fall weather, it was freezing cold this morning, it's perfect right now. I know I'd want to be using my boat. So if you're one of those guys that want to use your boat in the wintertime when no one else is on the lake, this is the perfect option for you. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop us a comment below or hit us up at xtremeheaters.com. We would love to answer any of your questions, help you out in any way. Thanks for watching.